Zimdi TV News presents Minister Hlongwane.
Honorable Dr.T Stamps, Health Advisor in the Office of the President and Cabinet, Board of Trustees, Mrs. Kadandara in absentia, Trust Board members here present, the Executive Chair, Mr. Michael Blagango, Team Manager, Field Rulers Football Club, Mr. Madza Pande, parents, the media, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. It is with great humility and honor that I stand before this august gathering at the behest of the Dr.T Stamps Trust for Chronic Conditions. It is encouraging to note that the trust was established by a group of volunteers with an interest in chronic conditions under the coordination and the able patronage of Dr.T Stamps, the health advisor in the Office of the President and Cabinet, and named after him in recognition of his outstanding contribution to the health sector in Zimbabwe and abroad. I'm reliably informed, ladies and gentlemen, that among other factors which motivated the establishment of the trust is the lack of resources, both human and financial, which has stalled mitigatory efforts vis-à-vis chronic conditions in the country. Also, the lack of coordination among organizations working on chronic conditions and the lack of support and representation of people living with chronic conditions at national level and the policy-making fora have also further compounded the problems. The intention to alleviate and control health conditions through sport and recreation is codified in the National Sport and Recreation Policy, NSRP, which was adopted by Cabinet in September of 2016, this year, in other words, last month. The Minister of Sport and Recreation has come up with a robust fitness and wellness program designed to tackle the spread of non-communicable diseases. Ladies and gentlemen, I strongly believe that the rise of chronic diseases calls for some serious thinking about what the country really considers to be progress in qualitative terms. For many decades, public health has stressed the need for collaboration with other sectors, especially in the prevention of diseases. Sport is one sector that yearns to play its rightful role in this respect. It is on record that regular physical activity decreases chronic conditions as well as decreasing the costs of the healthcare system. On the basis of randomized controlled trials, there is accumulating evidence that in patients with chronic diseases, exercise therapy is effective in increasing fitness and correcting some risk factors for the development of disease complications. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, it is of essence that as a nation we adopt sport and recreation as tools of reducing chronic ailments. As ministry, we hope and believe that this trust will lend a strong helping hand to people burdened with chronic conditions and also assist in the eradication of a long-term imbalance in which they have been inadvertently relegated to social obscurity due to poor management of such conditions. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to Honorable Dr.T Stamps and the trust members for their philanthropic gesture of empowering the girl child through sport. I'm aware of the harsh economic climate that is currently prevailing in the country, and running a football team from personal income is not just appreciated and highly commendable, but a sign of patriotism and camaraderie to the whole sport movement. I urge all trust stakeholders who have found it necessary and deserving to grace this occasion to work together in the mobilization of resources for the success of this team. And it is heartening to hear from trust board members that efforts are underway to mobilize for resources that will be channeled towards the support of this team. I must tell you that in our office at work, we think that Um, our girls are doing very well for the sports movement in the country, in various sport codes. Football is one such area. Hockey is another such area. Netball, we're doing very well in netball. Swimming, you just have the recently retired Kirsty Coventry, who is an all-time champion of our country in terms of Olympic performance. She obviously got lots of medals at the Olympics due to her unflinching commitment. So to that extent, it is important for all of us as a country, government included, the private sector, and the corporate citizens, to come together to assist the girl child and see if we cannot develop what could be potentially an area of comparative advantage for us as far as sport and recreation development in the country is concerned. I was listening keenly from the submissions made earlier. Obviously, the team is beset by numerous problems, and the problems that were chronicled here by the captain as well as other members of the team are representative of the challenges that the sports sector as a whole is faced with across the board. And I must say that to the extent that our economy is not performing well, that then has an unfortunate effect on the sports sector, because the sports sector, being an important part of the economic ecosystem of our country, has to depend on the performance of the corporate, has to depend on the performance of the private sector. Government also has to depend on the performance of SANE in terms of resource mobilization. We do have at the moment a challenge in terms of resource mobilization. Companies are not paying taxes for reasons that are obvious. Capacity utilization is very low, and sport by itself cannot be an enclave. It has to depend on the broader spectrum of the real economy performing very well in order for us to do that. But for a team such as this one, I don't think they have that many needs and requirements, and the board will do well to assist Dr. Stamps in his very commendable efforts by raising such small things as kits, such small things as provisioning for your ability to be able to engage and fulfill your fixtures and that sort of a thing. We think that will go a long way. There is nothing wrong with the kids being taken by other schools on account of scholarships. It is a good thing. You must support that. In fact, that's what we encourage. If an athlete is doing well in a club and they get a scholarship on account of that, then it means the system is beginning to function. That's what we want. That's what we encourage. So team manager, don't feel bad when your product is taken by Goromonza High School because they are a good soccer player. It is a good thing that you should celebrate as a team. It should inspire the rest of the other players to do well, so that they also get scholarships to go and participate in colleges, universities, as well as high schools across the country. And that obviously relieves the burden from the parents that we had a submission from them. It relieves the burden of having to provide for these kids from a point of view of school fees, etc. That is the justification why sport is important. That's the reason why we should all celebrate the excellency of sport. When scholarships begin to come on board, then we know we are doing the right thing. When people are beginning to get employed within the sports sector, within the recreation sector, then we know that this system can work, and we should support it. So, as a manager, you are doing very well to be producing products that are going to do well elsewhere. Don't desire to keep them around you. It's not helpful because you want to see the value addition process, the development process of your products. You should celebrate that. It is a good thing. Finally, I want to congratulate the team for a job well done. We all heard from the captain as he was giving a rendition of the challenges that they have had. But the spirit of sport, I always say sport is the university of life. a product who is made out of the sports movement is a complete human being. They know how to be a durable character, to be a durable person. They know how to endure and to defy odds when things are not working well. If you look at our best performing athletes in the country in terms of team sport, they have done so against defying serious odds to be able to do that. Whether you're talking of the Mighty Warriors, whether you're talking of the Warriors, whether you're talking of the netball team, they've beaten some of the world's best at defying odds. That's what sport should do. It should forge you out of the furnace of commitment, of tolerance of difference, of competition, of observation of rules, and reorient you towards becoming a durable citizen for our country. So I'm very grateful that this has happened, and my most sincere thanks, Dr. Stamps, for a job well done. Yours is an example that you have set. We should have many more Dr. Stamps across the country that stand by the girl child, that stand by the woman who is desirous of participating in sport. And so thank you so very much, and congratulations to all of you.